Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would talk you through the 25 books I would like to read in 2025. So you might be able to tell there's not 25 books here if you're really diligent and decide to count the stack. A few of them are not out yet or I don't yet own or are on Kindle Unlimited. So we've got 16. I have since realised I've put one book twice, so I've had to make a very quick decision of what to replace that with. So I'll talk about that first. Okay, the book that I have had to quickly swap. So Quicksilver is going to be on the list by Callie Hart. Is there a second book coming out this year? Possibly, not entirely sure. I've heard a lot of good things about this book. One of my friends has read it and told me straight away I needed to read it. I love how now it's been independently published, and because there was two versions of this book. The independently published had this cover, which is fine, whatever, it's great, you know, it's fine. Don't like people on the covers, but it's fine. And then this cover was like a special edition that she published, but when they've traditionally published it, you can pick whichever one you want, and I prefer this one because it's not got people on the cover. So yeah, anyway, long story short, I bought this when it got traditionally published earlier. I think I bought it at the very end of December, and I don't know much about it, to be completely honest. I think it's fair. I can tell you now, I'm not going to know how to pronounce any of these names. But yeah, my friend read it, said it's really good. She is incredibly picky and never likes anything. So if she says it's good, it must be good. So yeah, I'm putting Quicksilver on the list. I was going to go in order of my list as I've written it in my reading journal, but that is simply not going to work for things not falling. So we're going to just switch it up a little bit. Yes, another one, Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. I think this is two different writers. I think it's like a Christina Lauren situation. Yes, it is. It's an Elizabeth and a Helen. This one, first of all, the fact that the map is in colour on like the end pages, I love that so much. It looks really pretty, and I feel like I can just see it more, you know? I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. This one, as far as I'm aware, is Fae. It's white shoes. I do sometimes enjoy a white shoes, and I believe there's 4 books out at the moment. I got this on the TikTok shop sale a while ago, and then there keeps being sales, and I keep being like, well, I haven't read it yet to know if I want to read the rest of them. So we will see. I've just heard it's interesting. It says 1 human woman, 4 fae princes, a villain from below, an unbreakable bond. I think it's fated mates as well. It sounds interesting, so we will see. Next we have The Crimson Moth. I believe this is YA fantasy romance between a witch and a witch hunter. And that's all I really know about it. I think it's kind of in a world where witches are killed upon discovery, pretty much. So yeah, and I think these two kind of try and infiltrate each other's lives because she's a witch and he's a witch hunter. So he thinks she's a witch, but he's not entirely sure. And she's like, well, he's a hunter, so I need to like make him think I'm not a witch. I don't know exactly, but they kind of get together, not get together romantically, but get together just as people to kind of learn what they know or something like that, possibly. I could be completely wrong. If I am, do let me know. But it's witch and witch hunter, so that sounds fun. Okay, next we have a very tattered copy, because that's how it came, of When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This one, as far as I'm aware, is dragons. I don't know if there's any other beings that are particularly magical or what. I'm not entirely sure. I just know there's dragons, and that it's very confusing with seasons / the day / time. Oh, she's an assassin, so that could be interesting as well. I don't know a lot. I know a lot of people found this confusing, but also really good. I know some people didn't enjoy it, so it's a big book. I'm very confused about something to do with how time moves, or it was something to do with lateral like lines. I don't know. Yeah, we'll find out when I read it eventually. Right, I'm gonna quickly go through the ones that I don't physically own. So I really want to read Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie, because I have heard so many people say that it is such a good series. So I really want to get into it. I don't know much about it aside from addiction is involved. I think in Addicted to You, she's got a sex addiction and he's got an alcohol addiction. I could be wrong, but there's that one. Then there's This Is How You Lose the Time War. I do want to buy the physical copy of this. I've heard it's really good. I think it's sapphic. It's not too long of a read. I think it's under 300 pages. But it's about two people on opposite sides of the war falling in love through letters or something like that. It sounds good. Little Women. I do want to read classics this year, and I really want to read Little Women. It's my best friend's favourite book. I think she owns multiple copies of it, and she is dying for me to read it, but has told me if I don't like it, I can't say a thing. So I'm willing to do that. Yeah, it sounds really good. I did watch the movie that came out with like Florence Pugh and Timothée Chalamet and everyone, and I really enjoyed the movie. So I do know what happens. I just need to read it. Indigo Ridge, again, probably one I'll read on Kindle. I think this is called the Edens series by Devney Perry. I've just heard good things about it, but I've heard mixed things. I think some people really enjoy the series as like a palate cleanser in between and maybe don't binge the series. I think there's romance with some mystery aspects in it. I don't know, it sounds interesting, so we'll see if I like that. Obviously, what's not out yet is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I'm looking forward to that book, partly because it's going to be pink, okay, but also partly because I need to know what's going to happen. I really need to know. Another one that's not out yet, but I would really love to read, is Emily Henry's new release that's going to be coming out at some point this year, Great Big Beautiful Life. It's Emily Henry. I'll read anything she writes, okay? So, can't wait, honestly. The cover looks really... Do we have the cover yet? I feel like I've seen something and it looked really nice. I can't remember. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. But... And the last one that I don't physically own yet... Oh no, I do own. I do have one. It's downstairs in my classics section. I really want to read Pride and Prejudice. Okay, I loved the movie with Keira Knightley. Mr. Darcy is our autistic king. Okay, I really want to read it. I think it's one that I'll probably enjoy. So yeah, they're the ones I don't own or aren't out yet. On to the rest of the stack. So we have The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This one is an apartment that is magical. It's like magical realism, because it's set in the real world, but this apartment has the magical aspect of it will go back in time 7 years. I'm guessing to the day. And you might be, like when you leave the apartment, you're back in your time, but when you go in it, it might be in your time, or it might be 7 years in the past. And there's a romance, so could be interesting. Oh, I've just hit myself in the face with it. Lovely. Next we have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This one I have heard nothing but good things about. So I believe it's set in a circus called the Circus of Dreams. And there's a bit of a romance between two people who are, I think they're magicians by the looks of things. And I don't know, it says the circus arrives without warning. So there might be a little bit of like a kind of mystery to it. I don't know. I just think it sounds really intriguing. So I'd like to read this year, because I didn't get around to it last year and I really wanted to get around to it during like autumn or winter. It's still winter. We might get around to it this winter. Who knows? Okay, this one I have read. I have a couple tabs in it. I can't lie. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This is the first book I did read this year. I'm not going to talk about it. You'll have to wait to my January reading wrap up. But yeah. So obviously this one's about Addie, who has made a deal and is now immortal, but the cost of that means that no one remembers her. So as soon as she is out of their line of sight, gone. They have no idea who she is, and she would have to reintroduce herself again. So basically, yeah, that's yeah, you're going through her life, experiencing that, and it's like 300 years worth of life. So yes, this was on my list and I'm glad I've read it. That's all I can say. Next we have Mile High by Liz Tomford. Listen, I know everyone says just skip this one. My arms just slipped off there. And read The Right Move. I want to give it a go. Okay, it's a big book to just give a go. I get that. It's like 600 pages nearly. It's 570 pages of I might hate this guy, but I'm willing to give it a go just to have some backstory into the couple to move on to the rest of the series, because I'm very much looking forward to The Right Move, I have to say. So, and is it Play Along? The 4th book sounds amazing. Everyone, because that got released in 2024, everyone was going on about that book. So if I DNF it, I DNF it, but I want to give it a go. But I've heard he's a dickhead, so I'm in the mindset of knowing that, so maybe I'll be able to read it because of that. We will see. Then we've got Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Hadn't looked at who had written this before that. My friend has said this is like going to be right up my street, and I think it will be based on the books I read when I first got into reading in 2023. I thought, oh no, it doesn't sound very much like me. But then based on the Japanese fiction I did read last year and some of the Korean fiction, this does sound right up my street. So it's it's a cafe which if you get a drink, you can go to a different point in time. But they've got to return to the present before the coffee gets cold. And it's following 4 different people. So I wonder if it's like when What You're Looking For is in the Library, where you've got 4 chapters. And each chapter follows a different couple. A different person. I just because it said the lovers, so I'm thinking couple. I wonder if that's how it is, because that would make sense. Yeah, it's 4 chapters following 4 different people. So it's set out like What You're Looking For is in the Library. This is obviously a series that's got, I think, 4 or 5 books now. And I don't know about anything else in the series, but it sounds interesting. So yeah, I want to continue my Japanese fiction journey with one of the OGs to really come to be translated to English. And I don't know, I feel like it's this obviously came out way before. When did this come out? Because there's 4 of them now. 2015. So, and then it was translated in 2019. So yeah, it's come out quite a few years before Days at the Murasaki Bookshop and What You're Looking For is in the Library. So I feel like this was like the trailblazer for this kind of fiction. I could be wrong, but I want to read it. Okay, the book I duplicated and wrote down twice for some reason was The Chase by Elle Kennedy. Apparently I really want to read this book because I wrote it down twice. Yeah, I read the Off-Campus series last year and I did really enjoy it, and this one is following on from that series. And then once I've read this series, I can read The Graham Effect. I don't know what that series is called, but you've got Off-Campus, Briar U, and then yeah, I don't know what that one's called. We'll find out. Yeah, I can't remember anyone now. Oh, Fitzy. Okay, that makes more sense. I don't think we know the woman though. This is following people who were like in the younger years of the Off-Campus series, so like we kind of see some of them, I guess. But anyway, yeah. Well, I just want to continue this series. Anyway, next we have Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I read Babel last year and really enjoyed it, or Babel, however you want to pronounce it. And this seems like a very different vibe. It seems like R.F. Kuang doesn't release, aside from The Poppy War being a trilogy, the same genre of book in a row, because she had The Poppy War, which is a fantasy trilogy, and then obviously Babel, which is a dark academia, and then you've got this, which is more of a fiction about the literary world and the publishing industry. And I think it is a bit dark, don't get me wrong, because I mean, at the end of the day, her colleague died and she's stealing her work. So yeah, and then I have no idea what her new book's going to be about, but that's getting released this year and that sounds exciting. But I've heard this is really good. So I mean, if Stephen King has blurbed it, is that what the word? Then it must be good, surely. Okay, the next one is fairly new. I think it's newly released and also new to me. Not one I'd heard of before, but I went into Waterstones and just so happened to see it, and I was like, oh, I'm intrigued. The cashier said it was really good, and a lot like When the Coffee Gets Cold meets the Magic Library. And that is The Rainfall Market. This is by Yu Yongwan. So this is a Korean translated fiction. This one, I think it is like When the Coffee Gets Cold, in that when you go in, something can change. But this is that you can live another life. I'll read you the synopsis because I'm not 100% sure, it just sounded good. It says, on the first day of the monsoon, an old ramshackle building appears. This is the Rainfall Market. Inside you will find magical bookstores, hairdressers, perfumeries, and anything your heart desires, but you cannot enter without an invitation. Serin, who lives in a small flat with her mother and dreams of a bigger, better life, can't believe her luck when she receives a ticket inviting her to step inside the Rainfall Market. Once inside, she will have the opportunity to swap her life for a new one, a better one. Accompanied by Issa, the hat, and followed by a mysterious shadow, Serin tentatively steps inside. I cannot say the word tentatively and then steps at the same time. There she is told she has just 1 week to choose the perfect life and find her happiness. However, there is a catch. If she doesn't find her dream life, she'll be trapped inside the market forever. Ooh. So this must be like just following one person. Oh, I love this. I didn't notice this. There's like a little character, this won't open very well. There's like a little character sheet with little drawings. There's of all the people. I love that. Also, I found out because every like Japanese and Korean fiction I've read has had a cat on the front, but there's not necessarily been a cat in the book. And apparently if there's a cat on the front of the book in Japanese or Korean fiction, it identifies it as being a cozy fiction book. And it's like a cozy read. That's how you know. If it's got a cat on the front, it's a cozy book. I love that. That is so cute. So I'm really looking forward to this. Okay, next we have, I don't know why I keep looking down when it's here. Next we have the Book of Azrael. This is Gods and Monsters series book 1 by Amber V. Nicole. I don't know much about this aside from it's like a dark fantasy, and I love a dark romance. I love a fantasy. So a dark fantasy? Hell yes, sign me up. This book is a chunky one, so it might take me a while to get round to it, considering I have so much to read this yet. But, oh, so this seems like it's an enemies to lovers. I don't know what, I think just Gods and Monsters, so I'm guessing there's multiple types of monster, possibly. I could be wrong. I think the FMC, she might be a human who's made a deal. And then the MMC, I think he's a god. I don't know, but it sounds interesting and I've heard good things. And I love a good dark fantasy. Next, I want to read Electra by Jennifer Saint. This one is a mythical retelling of the women during the House of... I want to say it's during what happens at Troy. I could be wrong. It's following Clytemnestra, Cassandra and Electra, and kind of what's going on during that war / that battle. I don't know. Now I'm looking at it properly. Obviously you've got Clytemnestra, who's Agamemnon's wife. So obviously if you have read The Song of Achilles, it's that big fight at the end at Troy. It's kind of during that timeline. And then Cassandra must be the daughter. Oh, Electra's one of the daughters as well. Oh, it must be, so Clytemnestra is the mum, and then Cassandra and Electra are the daughters. And it's kind of like following the whole family, but the women. I don't know. I want to read more Greek mythology. So this is one of them. This is starting to get a little bit unsteady, so let's maybe move things a smidge. Next we have Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I've just heard a lot of good things about this series. I think it's a YA, but it's about this girl who's like death is following her, but death is a corporeal being, and the romance is between her and death. And that sounds great. That does sound great. It sounds a little bit like a series of unfortunate events storyline of everyone keeps dying and I have to get put around to different people, except it's not that one person wants all of their money, at least as far as I'm aware. So yeah, we'll see what this is like. There's only 3 books in the series and I think it's finished now as well, which is why I want to pick it up this year, because I need to stop reading series that are only just beginning. I mean, I think there's another one, at least one book to come out in the Windy City series. At least Briar U's finished. I don't know if this one's finished or not. When the Moon Hatched, I don't know how long that series is going to be. The Crimson Moth finishes. It's only a duology and that comes out in February. Bonded by Thorns, I don't know. The 4th book only came out last year. And then Quicksilver, I think it's going to be a series. So I am starting series, but I need to start series that are finished. Anyway, a rollover from last year is The Heir by Sophie Lark. Again, at least this series is finished, okay? This one, obviously this is following on from the Brutal Birthright series. It's about the kids and they're in this like boarding school type thing. So it's been over a year since I read the Brutal Birthright series now. I wondered how the new releases could possibly be as regular paperback size as they are, considering the height and depth of these books. Maybe because there's barely any words on the pages. Like, it's a big font and there's like double spacing between lines. That could be why. So maybe this isn't as intimidating as it looked. I don't like how it's been republished to just say year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. What's wrong with the cover? What? I liked these and they matched quite well. So I'm glad I got these before they got republished, because I'm not a fan. But yeah, I need to read this at some point. Like, it's been a while and this series is finished. I have no reason not to. And the final book, book 25, that I would like to read in 2025 is Butter by Asako Yuzuki. This one, I think it was Waterstone's Book of the Year last year. It would be my first like full-size Japanese fiction that's not like cozy fiction, but I've heard nothing but good things about this book. It's following this gourmet cook, Manako, who's been convicted of murder, and they're basically saying, well, you seduced them with your cooking and then you murdered them. So that's kind of like a very basic premise from what I'm aware. This is quite a thick book. Oh, okay, I'm looking at the author. So she's had, I think she's won multiple, well, it says she's been nominated for multiple Naoki prizes. It must be a Japanese sort of literary prize, I'm not sure. And her novels have been adapted for television, radio and film. I imagine for the success of this one, this must get adapted at some point in the next couple of years, surely. That is my very precarious book stack of all the books that I would like to read in 2025. We'll see if it happens. Last year, I didn't read all of the books I wanted to read last year. That was on my list. So I'm going to make more of an effort. I've already read 2 of them. I've already told you I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. You'll have to watch my reading wrap up to see which other one I read. And who knows, we might fit another one in this month. That is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what books you're really hoping to get round to this year in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye!